Piers Morgan, the famously outspoken British broadcaster, found himself in yet another headline-grabbing moment when his interview with rapper Kanye West took an unexpected turn. The highly anticipated sit-down was part of a wider media tour West had embarked upon, attempting to clarify and, in some cases, defend his recent controversial remarks and public behavior. However, the encounter did not go as smoothly as either party might have hoped. In a moment that has since gone viral, Kanye abruptly exited the interview after only 4 minutes, prompting Morgan to later describe him as a big baby, further igniting public and media reactions. The interview was intended to delve into Kanye's recent public controversies, including his erratic social media posts and polarizing statements that had alienated fans and business partners alike. In recent months, West had stirred backlash with a series of anti-Semitic comments, erratic business moves, and social media tirades that left many questioning his state of mind and motives. Morgan, who is known for his confrontational interview style, did not shy away from addressing these issues directly. His line of questioning was assertive, aiming to press West for accountability and clarity. However, it appeared that Kanye had little patience for Morgan's challenging tone. Only a few minutes into the interview, tensions escalated. Kanye seemed increasingly irritated by what he perceived as antagonism or perhaps a lack of empathy for Morgan. He pushed back on several points, accusing Morgan of not understanding his perspective and interrupting repeatedly. The conversation quickly deteriorated into a back-and-forth that was less about meaningful dialogue and more about personal jabs. West, clearly frustrated, abruptly walked out, leaving Morgan sitting alone. The dramatic exit was captured on camera and quickly made the rounds online, sparking widespread commentary. In the immediate aftermath, Piers Morgan took to social media and his own media platform to respond to the incident. He labeled Kanye a big baby, criticizing the rapper for being unable to handle tough questions. Morgan argued that public figures, especially those who engage in controversial or harmful discourse, should be held accountable and be prepared to defend their views in a civil conversation. He emphasized that his goal was not to attack Kanye but to give him a platform to explain himself, a platform the rapper ultimately walked away from. Morgan's criticism echoed the sentiments of many viewers who felt Kanye's behavior reflected an inability to face scrutiny. Kanye West's abrupt exit sparked renewed debate about his mental health and his place in the public sphere. While many have defended Kanye in the past, pointing to his openness about living with bipolar disorder and the pressures of fame, others argue that mental illness cannot excuse harmful rhetoric. The rapper's erratic behavior and tendency to lash out at critics have led some former fans to turn away, even as others remain loyal, citing his artistic genius and vulnerability as reasons to continue supporting him. The interview walkout only deepened the divide between those who view him as misunderstood and those who see him as irresponsible. The situation also underscored broader issues in celebrity culture and media. Piers Morgan's style, which often blends sensationalism with hard-nosed questioning, is polarizing in its own right. Critics argue that he sometimes provokes guests intentionally to create drama, rather than to foster genuine understanding. In Kanye's case, it's possible that the tone and framing of the questions contributed to his decision to leave. However, Morgan and his supporters maintain that celebrities who make bold or damaging public statements should not be immune from tough questions. From their perspective, Kanye's refusal to engage is part of a pattern of avoiding accountability. Despite the walkout, Morgan released the footage of the short-lived interview, offering commentary throughout. He also shared clips that showed Kanye initially agreeing to appear on the program in order to clear the air and tell his side of the story. Yet when faced with critical questioning, West seemed to retreat, further clouding his motivations. Viewers noted that this behavior aligns with previous instances in which Kanye has walked out of interviews, press events, or even public appearances when he feels confronted or cornered. For some, it was another sign that the rapper is in need of support and a break from the public eye. For others, it was simply more evidence of narcissistic behavior. As the fallout from the interview continued, reactions poured in across social media. Hashtags related to the interview trended worldwide, with fans and critics debating who was in the wrong. Some argued that Piers Morgan had intentionally goaded Kanye into a meltdown, while others felt Morgan had shown restraint and professionalism in the face of a difficult guest. Even among Kanye's supporters, there was concern about his ability to engage in constructive dialogue. Mental health advocates also entered the conversation, warning against using terms like big baby to describe someone who may be mentally unwell. They argued that while accountability is important, sensitivity and nuance are also needed when dealing with individuals who are publicly struggling. The interview, and its abrupt end, also prompted wider conversations about the responsibilities of journalists and media figures when interviewing controversial celebrities. While freedom of speech allows individuals like Kanye to express their opinions, platforms that host such voices have to navigate the fine line between giving space for expression and challenging potentially harmful ideas. Piers Morgan, never one to shy away from that line, once again placed himself squarely in the center of a storm, defending his approach as one of journalistic integrity. For Kanye West, the encounter added another controversial moment to an already long list of recent missteps. Whether this episode will prompt him to re-evaluate his public behavior remains to be seen. In the past, Kanye has shown flashes of reflection and remorse, only to reverse course days later. His career has long been defined by this push-pull between brilliance and chaos, vulnerability and arrogance. This incident was simply another installment in that ongoing saga, a moment that highlighted his volatility, but also raised difficult questions about how society engages with troubled artists. Ultimately, the clash between Piers Morgan and Kanye West became about more than just two strong personalities. It symbolized the larger tension between media accountability and celebrity defiance, between mental health advocacy and public scrutiny, between the right to speak freely and the consequences of doing so. As both men move on from the debacle, the echoes of their brief but explosive interaction will likely linger, fuel for further debate in a culture that thrives on spectacle but often struggles with substance.